Congrats on getting beyond $1 million. What got you here won't always get you there. This is a podcast for entrepreneurs who want to reach beyond their 7-figure business and scale to 8, 9, and even 10 figures. I'm Brad Weimert, and as the founder of Easy Pay Direct, I have had the privilege to work with more than 30,000 businesses, allowing me to see the data behind what some of the most successful companies on the planet are doing differently. Join me each week as I dig in with experts in sales, marketing, operations, technology, and wealth building. And you'll learn some of the specific tools, tactics, and strategies that are working today in those multi-million, 8, 9, and 10-figure businesses. Life can get exciting beyond $1 million.
Just shed the ego. Know you're just out there to help. If what you're doing is, hey, I've got this result in life, I just want to give you this result. I mean, shedding your ego just makes you be able to truthfully transfer anything that you've done.
It's tough to do something and then do it again and then do it fucking 15 times and not get any good results or not have it feel like you're getting a result. I think you've got to get enough reps under your belt with something, with anything, before you can create an anchor and say, oh, okay, sometimes I've got to do it 100 times before the result gets there. And I just need to get the practice in before I'll get to that point.
I talked to Andy Frisella before I went on stage at me and Bedros' event. I said, what if I don't know what to say? I speak up there for 6 hours. He goes, what the fuck do you mean? And I'm like, what? He goes, you were there the whole time. You did what they want to do. So anything you say is right. What are you going to not correctly say what happened? Just say what happened. I'm like, there you go. Shut up.
That's a great lesson. Anything you say is right. Wes Watson, I appreciate you hanging out, man. It's great to see you. We connected through a mutual friend, Todd Herman. And we connected because, I mean, more or less, your business has exploded in the last few years, and you ran into a payment problem, which we happen to be very good at fixing. So it was a fortuitous connection. But as I dug in and looked at kind of what you've done, I really wanted to dig in further and get you on the podcast to be able to share it with other people. So I would love if you could give a little bit of background on kind of the short version of your upbringing, because I know we've got a cool 1,000 stories in here, but how did you start in life? And ultimately, let's get to business.
Well, basically, I grew up in San Diego. So I grew up in San Diego, Oceanside. I was a surfer, skater, snowboarder. And I mean, I smoked weed. And I just wanted to smoke for free. Still till this day, I joke around and I say, I'm just smoking for free. Like, it's a lot of stuff I do, even in my business, all set up something around something that pays for something else. And so it goes back to being like a drug dealer. I mean, a lot of the shit that I do in my entrepreneurial venture goes back to when I used to sell drugs. And I mean, even I'm focused on getting a jet this year, and I'm going to smoke for free because I'm going to charter it. I'm going to fly it for free, and other people are going to use it. But just the analogy. I started off a skater, surfer, snowboarder in Oceanside, California. I was smoking a lot of weed. That the ounces turned into pounds. The pounds turned into violence. The violence brought me to the penitentiary. I did 10 years in California prison, CDC, general population, the worst of the worst. I did 10 years. And during those 10 years, I solidified a mindset that little did I know was probably the cornerstone to being the best entrepreneur known to man, which was not focusing on the result. Monotasking, only focused on the habits and the systems daily needed to get to point B, but focused on daily point A tasks and systems. I always like to say, you'll never rise to your goals. You'll always fall to the strength of your system. So I have a daily system that's infallible. I mean, I have expectations of myself, and I have standards set physically, mentally, financially that I hit every day. There is no way I can be the person who falls victim to what happens to a lot of people who have money and lose it. If I have a minimum each day that I have to make of $30,000, and then I have recurring revenue of another 30. I mean, the whole thing is like a minimum of what I have to make a day is 30. So I'll do what I have to do through the channels to make new sales at this level. And I have recurring revenue of, one of my low ticket areas is 15,000 members at $47 a month, does about $700,000 a month. I have a mid-level program that's $299 a month to $2,000 a year that has about 3,000 members. That's an ascension program to my high ticket where I teach someone to do what I do. They get my mid-level program and I get them right, their mind, their body, get them right as an individual, better habits. Then I teach them to do what I do, what I did for them, for others. So then they ascend to becoming a coach. So there's a direct trajectory if you sign up with me like it's a university or something. Wes is going to get me right, then he's going to teach me how to make money. I think that's how life should be. Gaining emotional, physical, like maturity in general before you get the money so that you don't blow it. You have financial maturity through just being an individual that operates from a certain set of habits and principles. But, going to prison taught me this the most, because why would you drift forward? Why would you project forward in prison if you're not getting out for 10 years? And why would you think about the past if you lost everything and it's very painful? You have to stay focused on the exact moment. And I like to tell people the man who can take more, who can validate himself more with the daily habits that gets the result over the result itself cannot be stopped. So when you validate yourself more with what you put in daily, then the actual end result, you'll keep progressing.
I love that shit. Well, a couple of things there. One of the things that I love about owning Easy Pay Direct is that I get to see the numbers of people's businesses. So I can look at somebody and I can hear what they're saying and ultimately validate it. And it's really important, I think, for people to be able to listen to those that are actually doing, actually performing, and be able to filter out the bullshit. So I love that you started with, hey, here we are, here are the numbers, here's how I'm performing right now.
Yeah, we have the one account through you guys. I think that one's already at 3 million this year. My mid-level program and some of my high ticket goes through you guys. And I think it's close to 3 million already for the start of the year. Then we have my low ticket on an old Stripe account. We want to take it off there because Stripe fucking held about 770,000 of my funds. And that's when we transferred to Easy Pay. And thanks you guys for being so supportive as we transferred over and having reps that we could talk to, because that shit's crazy when they freeze up almost $1 million of your funds and then there's nobody to talk to. I didn't even know if I was going to get it back. Like, I was telling my team, I'm like, am I really getting this? And I just got it back on the 3rd of April, like 770,000. Since I just been working hard, it felt like a payday. Like, I forgot about that money and I got a nice $750,000 deposited. And, the thing is being able to be transparent with the numbers is the best thing, because then I can teach people how to elevate their business or coaches as well.
Yeah, I love that. Well, Easy Pay Direct can definitely help you move the other volume off Stripe as well.
Oh no, we're slowly moving everything off. We just, like my team, we've been slammed with all this stuff, but we're going to be over you with our other accounts soon. We have like 5 different accounts that are running.
Love it. So you mentioned kind of singular focus and building this mindset while you were in prison. But I also know, at least what I've read from doing some prep for this, before you went to prison, like you mentioned, ounces went to pounds went to violence, but it was pretty significant weight that you were moving. So you were doing something right when you were selling weed. What was your mindset then? And what were the things that did work for you then? And what were the things that you were missing then?
Well, that's the best. I had bad habits, but I had a solid work ethic. A lot of people don't realize that quality of life is attached to 2 things. The man with the greatest quality of life will have the lowest expectations and the greatest work ethic. The man with the worst quality of life will have highest expectations and a shoddy bitch-ass work ethic. Literally, this is what will cause you to have the best quality of life. Now, I don't even care. I don't care how much I make. I'm not sitting here stressing about, I have to reach these levels. I'm more I'm more focused on the daily work. And that's the guy who will not fully feed himself of the progress that needs to come from singular focus, like you said. I like to call it flow state. I mean, I stay in a state of flow all day because I do the same things every day. And I make sure that I'm only doing one thing at a time. And I'm skipping, and my day is set. I wake up at 2:45. I go straight to the gym. I'm making content in between. I'm on my first call by 7 a.m. I have calls till about 3, an hour on, hour off. In between my calls, I do like a 60-40-20 workflow where I'm on 60 minutes. I'm off for 40 minutes doing monotonous tasks, sales, emails, content, stuff like that. And then 20 minutes before my next call, I do 20 minutes of HIIT training to get my mind prepped to be back into flow state. I'm always more focused on the creative state where no desire exists. So I like to tell people your frequency is what you frequently see. So I only gauge life by the frequency chart. If you guys Google low frequency emotions, there'll be a chart. At the bottom will be guilt and shame. At the top will be love and enlightenment. Where do you stand on that chart is the only thing that matters. Einstein and Tesla said, if you want to unlock the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, vibration. I don't care what you went through. I don't care who you are. I don't care anything that's going on. I just care at your current frequency, what you're operating at. Because if I can get you into that state of acceptance, then love or self-love, and then enlightenment, now we can be creative and conducive towards our end result. You're in a positive mindset that's only going to see possibilities, believe they're possible, and pursue them with complete clarity. When you're at these low frequency emotions, you will see the opposite. You'll only see problems, and you'll actually manifest and create them. So I tell people, I'm like, are you high or low frequency Wes right now? I'm like, I'm low frequency Wes. I'm only seeing the problems, and I'm believing I'm creating more of them. I need to get myself back into a high frequency state. How do we do that? And I've always said that we're never going to think our way into positive thought. We have to act our way into positive thinking. And it's always been the two things that have been what humans did since the dawn of time. I mean, we were always real physical. So peak physical performance, no negative internal state can coexist during peak physical performance. No one was ever running a marathon and was like, oh my God, this anxiety is really kicking in. You're completely clear. You're in flow state. You're fucking chilling. And then during this, so when you're actually pouring into someone else, you're becoming the source of what you seek. I want to be more wise. I want more inner peace. I want more strength. So I'm giving that to the viewers right now. If you become the source of what you seek and you operate from high peak physical performance all day, you'll always be in a state of flow. Plus anything that you're doing in a moment that is projecting a greater version of the future will put you in flow as well. So I just stay in that state where no desire is taking place. Because if you look at the frequency chart, it's anger, desire, fear, guilt, shame. And then it's acceptance, love, gratitude, enlightenment. And we just need to stay in these higher frequency states, have a blueprint and a system, and then be consistent enough to apply it daily.
So I love that. When you were starting, and I want to talk kind of how that got developed and how that mindset got developed. But when you were starting, like you said, you had bad habits, but you had work ethic. What of those things was lacking when you were selling weed, and what was super strong? Was it only work ethic? I mean, certainly you had some goals around that of like, I want to make X money or push X weight, or maybe you didn't. I don't know. But like,
habits most people have, the vices. I would drink too much. I would do too much drugs, and I would overeat. That would cause my clarity to be shot. It would put me in a low frequency state. When you're in a low frequency state, you'll self-sabotage harder. So, I mean, once I acted out of alignment and I wasn't congruent with the man I needed to be, well, now I didn't value myself. I wasn't doing enough personal work. The work instills the work. I don't care how much you work on your business. I don't care how much you work on your marriage. I don't care how much you work with your kids, your lawn, your house. I don't care where the work goes. If the work is not done on self, there will not be worth in self. The work instills the worth. If you don't have worth in self, you will self-sabotage. And they'll come in the forms of whatever you're weakest in. So if it's women, if it's alcohol, if it's overspending of money, you will break yourself down in that area if you stay in that low frequency place. So for me, it was drugs, alcohol, fast life. And imagine what I would have done if I was just completely focused. I went to bed early. I saved everything. Like nowadays, the stuff I expense, I never spend $1 without believing money comes back into my brand from that dollar. Not $1. And since I document everything and everything's content, a private jet ride is money back. A Rolls Royce is money back. A Lamborghini is money back. I listen to the guy who flies on the jet and has all the cars. Some people make their content around, oh, it's not about material possessions. But I listen to that guy. Like my coach has to have a jet and a yacht, and he has to be killing it. He just has to. Or I have to know he has X amount of money and he has these habits. So, I mean, I've just created the man I admire, and I'm giving him to the world, which I've told everybody is our purpose. Create the individual that Brad admires and give him to the world. That's what we're supposed to do. So if you don't admire a man like that, then you don't need to. That's not what you're drawn to, because what we're drawn to is inseparably connected to our purpose. I was drawn to this big, tatted gangster motherfucker that I created in fucking prison. And I didn't know why I was drawn to that. But I was made to make this dude right here so that I could come out and work on my people, the people who need the most help. What are you going to not be flashy? What are you going to not show the harder sides of life? Then you're not going to work on the people that need help, the people that will shoot you for money. I'm saving you guys from those people. These people who will fucking rob your ass, that are fucking gangsters, are like, Wes showed us a better way. We don't have to sell drugs and rob and be crazy. We could get way fit. We could drop all the vices. We could be better people. We could make millions that way. I've turned some of the worst people into coaches for others. And who is the best coach? The man who's failed the most and turned his life around.
So how did it start for you? So you went into prison. Did you get a 10-year sentence from jump? Did you get a shorter sentence? Did you get extended? But you got in, and when did it change? What happened where you thought, hey, I need to build a different mindset. I need to set values. I need to live to a different standard for myself.
I just kept relapsing on drugs. So like I'd be good for a while. I was clean for like 5 years, and I was just working out. I wasn't too dedicated. I wasn't like, I would always have my wake up time. I've always been kind of a morning person. So I'd always wake up super early, because in prison, if you wake up at 6 when everyone's going to chow, it's traffic. I'm the type of person, if I really drove to work a 9 to 5, I would drive way before traffic, work out by my work, and then go to work if I was that person. That's what I would do in prison, basically. I would get up before traffic, brush my teeth, do a quick workout, use the bathroom. And if you're in a cell, you still want to be up before the traffic your cellie's going to do at the toilet and sink. So if you want to use it first, you want to wake up and have someone there, you get up before them. So I'd always get up before so I could spend my time with myself in the morning. That turned into a quick workout in the morning. That turned into reading positive books and quotes, and then journaling in the morning. This turned into something crazy, because I realized later I'd wake up at 2:45 a.m. I would do my morning stuff. I'd be on my rack at 3:40 a.m. and I'd be writing in my journal and reading at 3:40 a.m. because the cops walk at 4 to count you. You have to be ready, or most people are sleeping, but I have to be sitting there ready to be counted. I realized later that there's a significance of 3:40 a.m. And if you look up like Sadhguru or Joe Dispenza, they'll say with the circadian clock at 3:40 a.m. exactly, you're most aligned with your purpose on this planet. Whether that's true or not, I don't give a fuck if anyone believes it. The thing is, I wrote the craziest shit that I've ever wrote at that time, and it brought me here in life from where I was. That's all I ever want someone to do. All I ever want someone to do is say, I was here, I operated from these thoughts, these actions, this energy, and I got here. So I aligned my thoughts, actions, and energy with this outcome I got. When I fully changed my life, it was because I got high again in prison. I drank a little bit of prison wine. I did a little bit of speed. We sell drugs in prison like it's going out of style. I did a little bit of meth. I smoked some shit and did like a parachute, like a gram. And I was drinking some prison wine. And then that set me off. For like 2 weeks, I was on a run. That run turned into me beating the dog shit out of my bunkie. And I beat him up in the wrong area because it's real racial in California. And so my people had to discipline me and whoop my ass. And then so once I got my ass whooped and I was coming down on drugs, like my nose was like fucked. It was like broken, still crooked. And I had to sit there like some beat up bitch, and everybody walked by me. In prison, when you get your ass beat, everyone's like, oh, you pussy. Like, I thought you were better than that. And it's just some shit. It's like real demeaning. It sucks. And then I just like, I'm never being weak again. And they're like, I could get my ass kicked, but I'm never being weak again. Weak with my choices. I'm not being weak for vices. I'm not being weak for anything. So I just chose strength. And what was strength in my book? Strength was restraint. Because caving to all the stuff that made me weak was my only problem. I'm physically strong, but I was weak with restraining myself. So now I saw the real success, quotation, like how to really become successful. And it was restraining yourself from everything that's keeping you from what you already are.
That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. And so that was 5 years into 10 years in prison?
Yeah, I relapsed for 2 weeks, 5 years in, and I never fucked up again. This was 2014, early 2014.
Got it. And so you got out in 19?
I got out in the end of 17.
Okay. Yeah. Tell me about that remaining 3 years. So when you were after the relapse and you made this decision, and I also really love how you defined the decision of strength and you defined what that meant to you. and that being restraint. And that lesson is so powerful for so many people, but specifically, well, it's for so many people for so many reasons, but for high-level entrepreneurs that think they're doing well, that think they're successful, and by lots of other people's criteria they might not be for themselves. And what's limiting is they can say, yes, I'm successful, but when you change the definition of what that means, and in your case, it was expressing restraint, it changes the outcome that you're capable of achieving, right? And I love that. How did that path unfold in prison from that point forward?
From that point on, I came across a few books. Like the first one that landed on my lap was Stephen Covey, 7 Habits, Highly Effective People. And I just was like, oh man, this is me. Like he's talking to me. Like this is who I need to be. And I'm like, I'm never missing again. And I was always real disciplined with the wake up time. I've been waking up at that time since when I went to prison because I couldn't sleep. I was like, it's fucking distraught. So I would just be up at 2:45. I made that my wake up time so I could get all my stuff done. But I really never missed a workout or anything like that. But this is when I got really tight on my diet. This is when I got really tight on my daily process and my schedule. And this is when I started to lean into books and quotes when my mind started to slip. So I would always have like a book there, just putting it in my face to realign my mindset with these gems, with these quotes, with these mindset hacks, these fail safes. And I would just memorize them and live by them. I wouldn't just read books in prison. I would rewrite them in my own words. So hence I became like a copywriter of sort, to where people were like, how are you so good at writing on your Instagram? Look how all this went through. Like I went into prison. I said, fuck it. I don't care. I have the chance to write the greatest story ever told, and I'm going to fucking write it right now. And I said, I'm going to be the best at this prison shit. I don't care if I like it or not. I'm going to be the fucking best at it. That's part of it. Everyone thinks they have to love what they do. You have to just really put your name on everything you do and love that your name's on it and do it at the highest fucking level. And that's what I did. So I created this individual that was so physically imposing. And then all of a sudden the self-help books just started landing on my lap and they were resonating with me so well. And I had the crazy idea of, I don't want this book to end and I like it. And I don't really speak the way this guy is speaking. So I'm going to rewrite each page. So every day I would read a page and I'd read a paragraph and rewrite it in my own words, read another one, rewrite it. It would take me 10 months to read one of these books that people would read in 10 days and be like, yes, champion, I read that. I would rewrite every book. And I only basically did that with 5 books. It was Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It was Outwitting the Devil, Napoleon Hill. It was Meditations by Aurelius. It was Art of Living by Epictetus. And it was 177 Mental Toughness Secrets of the World Class by Siebel. This is a gem. Get that book. Like, that guy's crazy. Nobody knows about that book either. It gave me the chills right when I thought about it. But I would rewrite these books, and then now look at it. I'm being perfectly conditioned to be where I'm at right now, Brad. Perfectly conditioned. The body being built on those bars in that prison, and the look for the avatars that need me out here. If you can't see how divine this all was, then you're lost as a motherfucker. And I would always attach my result to a deeper core belief. And my core belief was, if a man is right, his world will be right. And so I quit being wrong. It was easy. I was so bad, Brad. I was so bad that all I had to do was do the opposite of what I was. That's all I had to do. Everybody's like riding that thin line. So it's hard for them. They're like, well, what do I need to change? I'm really like not that bad. I was the worst. So I just had to be the opposite of what I was. And I was good. But that goes along with Dispenza. And Dispenza says habitual construction on the other side of your weakness. Everyone out here doesn't realize that their weakness is not being assertive enough. They are not assertive enough. They don't attack shit. They're not intense enough. They've been manipulated by society to be softer, and oh no, being vulnerable and soft, it's such a strength. Not if that's the way you are. If you are vulnerable and soft, you can't magnify that, bitch. You have to be a killer then. You can't just be, hey, they said that being vulnerable and soft is awesome. That's how I am. Yay, I'm perfect. No, you need both, motherfucker. You need the polarity of both sides. And since I was already a killer, I just had to be that other side that society and these books were telling me to become whole. And it worked very fucking well. Now I hold the exact title of what a great leader should be, which is disciplined and dangerous, because too much kindness will breed a lack of accountability. And that's why I can orchestrate thousands of people to do what I need them to do, which is to drop the hardest shit that they've never been able to drop because they respect me. And they only respect me because I respect me and I respect them. And I get on my Instagram and I say, listen, you guys, I'll never fail you. And I never have. I have never missed a post, never missed an upload, never missed anything. I've never missed a wake up, never missed a workout. Since I got out, I've documented everything. And I even documented everything in prison on a cell phone. And I proved it over time. When I got out of prison, in prison, all my posts were in black and white for years. Then when I got out, boom, color pink. And I said, watch what I can do. I was a millionaire in the first 18 months. And now people see my life. They're like, Jesus Christ. Like, you really went from that to that in 5 years? I'm like, I know, it took a long time, right?
So you mentioned the 5 books, which we'll definitely put in the show notes, and I'll definitely check the last one because I have not heard of it, don't know about it. So,
dude, Steve Siebold will rearrange how much clarity you can operate from when you attach yourself to something greater. It's crazy.
That's great, man. But the way that you said it was these books just came to me. Did you have a support structure once you made that decision? Did you have other people? How did they come to you?
In prison, people just like they would see that you're changing. Like this kid, Scott, he was there for murder. He's from NorCal. He killed someone at like 18 and he was like 35, but he was still 18. And he was trying to be better. He was a real quiet guy. He just saw what I was doing and he just handed me the book. And then the Steve Siebold book, that came from like an other, which is like a Samoan guy, an Asian or a Samoan. They're called others in prison. That's like their group or their gang. Yeah, it's crazy. They had to check the box other, and that's why they're others. But he came in and said, hey, this book fits you more. Every book I ever got, someone handed to me. Still till this day, I will not read. Like, I won't read anything. Like, stuff has to land in my lap. That means it was meant for me. And people are like, you don't read anymore. That's like a game changer. I'm like, I don't want to plagiarize. If I don't know that I created that, and I don't say I created it, if I don't know that I tapped into like infinite intelligence and downloaded this, then I feel like a fraud. I don't like it. So I really won't read anything. I'll try to stay away from everyone else's content. I'll just do my shit. But yeah, the books came to me. I'm glad you got that part because a lot of people, they don't understand that. They go seeking knowledge. And what are they doing when they're always seeking and seeking and seeking? That's horrible. They're saying, I am not. What if you knew you already were and humans were perfect? And we were so instinctual and we were so elevated and so conscious, but everything of society was what was holding us down. And then you got a process like Wes Watson and you got up and the intention of your wake up, the intention of your workout, the intention of everything was a removal process, removing everything from keeping you from being that conscious being you already are. So everyone wakes up in the morning, they think they're finding something by doing an ice bath and all this shit. I'm like, no, that's a removal process of all my lesser negative, low frequency traits and emotions. So I remove all that. And by knowing it's a removal process, not a seeking or searching, then I'm saying we've always been. So it's a complete different rephrasing and definition. And you're already perfect. We just have to remove all the shit that you've learned and you'll continue to learn throughout each day. And it'll become a part of you through habitual construction that keeps you in those limiting beliefs.
And so what you did in prison was focus on yourself. And ultimately, by focusing on yourself and getting better as yourself, other people saw that and it attracted these people to you to contribute in that way.
You have the best question. You lead up so well. I'm just saying, because look at this. Like by you saying that, it goes right into the best shit ever. Self-actualization. Self-actualization is what most people are in the phase of. And that's okay. That's okay. Maslow's law says that that's needed. It's a selfish, needed phase of self-actualization. But then when do you transcend? And can you actually become actualized if you're yet to transcend self? That's the top of the pyramid. Maslow's law of growth needs is self-transcendence. Now I only live for others. That's it. Everything I do is so everyone else can realize what they're capable of. I don't think about me, so I'm free. You're only constrained when you have that self-absorbed self-talk. So am I okay? Am I going to be right? Am I ever going to make it? All that bullshit. But self-actualization is needed. If you guys are in that phase, it's okay. You're going to need someone who has transcended self to get you to become the teacher. And when you become the teacher, you'll be free. And that's where I'm at. I don't give a fuck about me. Fuck Wes Watson. I don't give a shit. Like, all I have to do is get up every day and be the alchemist needed in this world. And an alchemist in today's society is someone who turns the world into words and can create systems and blueprints and methods of operation that can change lives.
So let's talk about that for a minute, because the tactical, both from sort of strategic operations to granular operations, are relevant. And I think when you talk about people seeking or not knowing what to do or say, that's part of it. So you get out of prison, and were you actually posting while you were in prison? Did you have a YouTube channel?
I had contraband cell phones, and I was posting in prison on my Instagram. And that actually became, I don't even know if I have one right here, actually became the cover of my book. It's out there. But one of the pictures I took in prison became the cover of my best-selling book, Non-Negotiable by Wes Watson. The cops, when I was about to leave, they said, take down your Instagram. I was like 180 days from the house. Take down your Instagram or we're going to hold you longer. You're not going to go home. And I'm like, I am home. What the fuck you talking about? What, do you follow me? I had like 12,000 followers in prison. And the guy's like, maybe I do. I said, well, quit making fake profiles, being some stalker, and just follow me. If you got some questions, I'll answer them. You know, it's like, the whole thing was, I was already doing testimonials, like side-by-side comparisons and transformation pics in prison of inmates I was working.
Crazy. So did you have the plan to create the business that you have created while you were in prison? That was the whole game plan. Hey, I'm going to tee all this up, and as soon as I get out, I'm going to crush it.
Well, that's Maslow's law of growth needs. Self-actualization, self-transcendence. It's the quote that I wrote on my rack a long time ago. Create the man you need, give him to the world. So I found out all the shit that worked for me, from being a piece of shit to who I was, just feeling great every day, even though I was in prison, and just killing it in every way. I had to teach it to the world. I don't get how you motherfuckers, I'm not saying you, I'm saying Pete, because this podcast is proof of self-transcendence. Brad said I have to fucking teach people. I have to get it out there. I don't get how people hold it in. When shit works for you, how the fuck do you hold it in? How are you not like pulling people over on the street? Hey, if you change that chicken to this chicken and you do this and this, your whole life will change. Or if you're like this is one thing I do. So I'll have coaching calls all day. And between my coaching calls, I'll go drive somewhere and I'll sit. And I have some crazy ass cars, you know. So I sit and some guy comes up and he's like, is that your car? And I'm like, yeah. Well, what do you do? And I'm like, well, it's mainly what I don't do that got me that car. But I mean, I do this. If you ask what I do this. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, I do this, what we're doing. He's like, what are we doing? I'm like, I'm about to tell you what you need. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I was waiting for you. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, what do you do right now? And then the guy goes like this. The guy's like, well, I lost a bunch of weight and I started making YouTube videos and I quit smoking. Well, maybe I'm the top person at what you're saying you want to do right now, which is make YouTube videos, attach links, have your offers, save people's lives, make massive income and massive impact. Maybe I'm the top person at exactly what you need. Maybe that's what I do. And he's like, is that what you do? I said, of course that's what I do. That's why I'm sitting here. Like, I was pulled right here and you were going to walk by and you were going to look at that car and then you were going to say something about it. That's what happens every time I go out between my calls. So I go coach on the street and the guy's like, this is crazy. He's like, speaking to God, looking above, like, no way. And I'm like, look at this, how it works. Put up this video. There's this link right here. This link goes to this. This link goes to a CRM. The CRM comes through here. Look, I sent them the Easy Pay link right here to the CRM. I don't even have a sales process. I just text over the Easy Pay link. They pay. It goes to my account. Look. Oh, look, there's a lead comes through right now. Let's sell them. Ding, 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 ding. What's your problem? I have to work on my mindset. Okay, I got you, bro. And I give them my offers. Okay, I'll take the $7,500 for 3 months. Perfect. Send them a link. It closes. I'm like, bro, I just made $7,500. He's like, yeah, right. I'm like, yeah, right. And he's just like, holy shit. And that's what I do. I really just am a product of what I've learned 24/7. So no matter what I know, I'm open to give it at all times. And people are like, they always try to misconstrue that. They're like, fine, I'm going to meet you at your gym. I'm like, no, you won't. That's massively intrusive. You have to buy into a program like this. Like they're like, well, what? It's all about the money? I said, it's both. Yes, I want to live a great life. I was in prison for 10 years and I want to help you. And guess what? All you motherfuckers who want like some guy like me to coach you for free because he already has money and you need help, you won't be able to do it. If you're trying to be a fucking coach for others and you don't even have $7,500, is that the coach you want? Hey, that's my coach over there. He's broke as shit. That's my life coach. No, I have millions. I can spend $750,000 so many times over to blow your fucking mind. That's the coach I want. That's the coach he wants. And he doesn't realize that he's not even responsible enough to do with the knowledge I'm going to give him what's needed to be done yet. So he has to start on a lower program at like $10 a day and I make him a better person. Then he'll be ready. Or else he'll just waste his money, my time, and his.
I mean, there's also a investment consideration where if you haven't, put yourself on the line in some way, a lot of people have a hard time committing. And, you talk about...
my weakness is in relationships. I had to do that in my relationship. I was slipping. I was being a dick. I wanted to kick out on my new girlfriend. She was going through some stuff and it was just taking too damn long. I'm like, how long do you have to be healing? I'm healing, babe. I'm going through it. I'm like, God damn, I'm going to heal forever. Like, we have a great life. We have a mega mansion in San Diego. We have a condo. We have every car. We have money. Like, let's enjoy life. You don't have to heal forever. Jesus. I wanted to ride it out with her because I'm a healer. And I know that she was going through some stuff and I've been through stuff. So I wrote her a $50,000 check just to commit more to our relationship. And I'm like, here, I have to give you this so that I don't leave. So I don't have enough skin in the game in our relationship right now. And it still didn't work because it wasn't enough money. But I'm still in the relationship. But yes, we need skin in the fucking game. And I do that at a way higher level than I ask my clients to. I mean, I invest in shit that's so crazy that it's like my mastermind. I had this big idea. And I'm like, I'm going to get this huge mansion. And everyone's been asking me, they want to meet me in person. Well, I'm going to give them the chance to come down for a weekend and pitch their product or service. Because that's what worked best for me. A podcast like this or being on Andy Frisella's or Brad Lee's and stuff like that made me the most money in my business. The podcast viewers are the best viewers for conversion to any coaching sort of service or programs. So I'm like, you guys can be on my YouTube channel. We can pitch your service. It costs X amount. But for me to even give them that opportunity, the risk I had to take is crazy compared to the risk they have to take, and they still don't really see it.
Do you think it's possible for people to accelerate if they don't have skin in the game?
No, never. I mean, I get too comfortable. I have too much in my account right now. I have to spend it on something. I have to dump it. So I'm going to get a condo in Miami or something. And then I probably fractional ownership on a jet. I'm going to force it back and forth. And for me, like the best quote I heard from Joel Marion the other day from Dan Fleischman when we were flying back on my jet from Miami. And I said, Joel said he effectively loses money better than anybody he knows. Like effectively loses money out of his accounts, better than anyone he knows. And I'm like, I have that problem right now. So what am I going to do? My business is content-based, and the connections in Miami were superior to anywhere I've ever been. So, yeah, move the business to Miami. We'll actually pay for all this content, all this stuff, and these moves that seem massive to someone. But you could write that check to California, or you could put the business in Florida and have the extra content for everybody and the needed connections that come from being in the epicenter of the East Coast.
Yeah, man. Well, don't get me fucking started on California.
I'm throwing away like $1.4 million this month. And I'm going to show the check. I'm like, oh, you guys get mad that I write checks for my cars? Because all my cars are paid for cash. I have all the pink slips to all my cars. 2023 Rolls Royce Cullinan 2021 Ferrari SF90. I have all of them. I have all the pink slips. Some are at my other bed. But the thing is that I'm going to show writing that check. I like paying my portion, but I don't want to pay that much. Fuck that.
No.
And like, if I can get that much done by being over here, I've never been to Miami. I've been in prison. I'm institutionalized as fuck, man. I'm just doing my workout. I'm just doing my thing. I just stay in my lane. And I went out there and I'm like, oh my God, these people congratulate success. They liked my nice bags and my presidential and my physique. I'm like, these people are like not insecure about success. They're inspired. Fuck, this is where I need to be. Shit. So I'm gonna go back and forth.
I love that. So here's the question for me relative to skin in the game. And I think about this a lot for myself personally, and I see how friends handle it and I see how clients handle it. And it's always a little different across the board. When is it too much? Meaning, you have, there is this looming risk in my head of maybe buying the jet too early is a stupid move, not a motivating move.
Oh yeah. Make sure you have massive liquid. I have, my business is so profitable. I have so much liquid. It's disgusting. Like if you really, these Lears are 2.4 million. Like if you can't buy a Lear for fucking, half down or even buy the fucking whole thing cash, have someone fucking, have someone charter it and use it when you're using it. If you can't pull that off, you're probably the dumbest person alive. There's no fucking way. There is no, I'm going to smoke for free. That's like when I used to sell weed, smoking for free. The jet's going to be smoking for free. And fuck, give people a deal, $6,000 an hour, or something. Instead of paying $9 like I've been paying. I'm like, I'll give you a deal and I'll be killing it. But as long as it just pays for itself, I don't give a fuck. Or if I just pay a little bit, who gives a shit? Got
it. So basically it's do the math ahead of time.
Yeah, you can section 179 that motherfucker, and it'll be, whatever you can put down, the least down, and fucking write the whole 2.8 off or whatever. And it could be marginally, it could be written off for 2 full years of taxes if you need that. But I make so much that won't even dent 1 year.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk tactics for a second here. So you get out of prison and you flip your IG to color, which I love. I love this definitive moment.
There's so much. Yeah, it was so much thought ahead of time.
Okay. So tell me what the thought was and tell me how it tactically changed. Did you have people helping you while you were in prison execute this? And once you got out of prison, were you monetizing beforehand or were you monetizing after? And how did you build it from the beginning there?
If you saw how simply I run my business, you'd be like, you fucking psychopath. How did you make it so simple? And no wonder you profit 85, 90%. Jeez.
Well, share.
Whoa. Yeah, I make my stuff so simple. It's crazy. I do not have a sales team. It's all content and trust based. I'm very good at breaking down exactly what I'm doing over time and showcasing, the exact, the brand trust and the perceived value. So all day long, I'm showing perceived value in my high ticket coaching program where I teach you to do what I do by showing testimonials of people making $100K a month who paid me $3,000. I recently had a guy pay me $7,500 and he made $460,000 in 1 month. Literally in one fucking month. And then right after he went and did this for his parents yesterday, he went and put $250,000 on the table cash right there for his parents. And he's only 30 years old.
That's awesome.
Yeah, this is one of my students. He does VSLs and high-level converting VSLs for people at Mind Valley and stuff. But he always worked for other people. And then I said, let's sell your shit. Come on, dude. And the first month, he just, he sold 20 plus of his $20,000 program, which is easy. If he's producing 100K a day with this high-level converting VSLs, and he's going to teach you how to do them, it's a no-brainer. So now I coach anybody on Zone of Genius. I make their offer and we make their content and I hold them accountable to the content And I make sure we have the right editors, we have the right look, we have everything, we build their brand correctly. Even Eric Spofford, who we just did his event in Miami, he's already paid. He already has a jet. He already has a yacht. He already's worth a couple $100 million. And but he wanted to do the coaching because I watched him one day on his jet ski next to his yacht, and I like screenshotted his picture. I said, "You look fucking miserable right there." And then I screenshotted his face when he was doing a Q&A on Instagram with some addicts because he made his money off treatment facilities. He was doing a Q&A on Instagram for some addicts, and he was glowing. He'd be like, "Wes, don't fucking say I'm glowing. Shut the fuck up." He's the type of dude who'd be like, "Nah, shut up." But no, he was straight how I feel in this podcast. I'm so free right now, Brad. When I leave this, I won't be free. Yesterday, I had a flat tire in my Aventador SVJ. The Ferrari, my assistant drove it when I was out of town and didn't plug it in right, drained the battery. It had to be fucking towed. And then my gates closed on my Cullinan. And I don't even know how that happened, but it was just like one thing after another. I guess if you have 10 exotic cars, like stupid shit happens. I'm not even tripping, but like the whole thing is that all that material stuff, we're going to need it. They're good props. We're not going to not have it, but it does cause a lot more distress than what I love, which is this. I love coaching. I love making content.
Yeah.
I love being on a podcast. I love taking the stage. Like these people don't realize their ego. Their ego is huge if they can't save someone's life over worry about how they sound and how they look. You mean you're not going to get on that podcast or you're not going to make that content piece that could save someone's life because you don't like how you look and sound and you don't see what's wrong with that? Like, oh, I guess it's like that. And the ego behind rich people who don't share like you're doing, like beyond $1 million, like that's huge. This isn't just small guys playing small shit. If they tune in to Brad's podcast, they're going to get the next level mindset and the next level systems. My shit is so simple, it'd blow your fucking mind. You'd be like, I have to sit down and take like 20 minutes to teach you how to do everything. And I'm going to make you millions if you just stick to it. So then a good coach doesn't give you the best plan in the world. He keeps you from the bad ones. And that's congruent with me. People ask me what do you do? I say, it's what I don't do. So we're back to those habits, bro.
So
we're back there.
All right. So a couple things. First of all, nobody's shedding any tears for you, closing your mansion gates on your exotic car, but it illustrates, it illustrates an interesting point, which is that yes, the things that actually make you happy and light you up are never those things. And by the way, they might be moments while you're in those things, but they're never those things. And the more you have, the more challenges and problems come with it that you have to navigate through. Like you listed, 4 issues that you had that I'm sure, spiked your cortisol and made you pissed off throughout that day.
I was pissed.
Yeah, that just all happened as a result of having those things. But
the thing was that stress management is the ceiling to your potential. So don't get rid of everything so you don't have stress. Like lean into it, have stress, and then have systems and fail safes and mindset tricks to get over these things that will cripple most people.
So how did you do the stress management for those situations?
Oh, those things were easy. That was just stupid. I made so much money it didn't even matter. I didn't give a fuck.
So that's actually a good answer though, right? It's like my mother told me something when I was a child. She said, if you're upset when it breaks, then you couldn't afford it in the first place.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. I literally made like 50 grand in sales yesterday, and I always do about 30 a day in recurring. And I mean, the whole thing is like, what the fuck? Who gives a shit? What does it cost? The guy told me it was going to cost $7 to fix all the doors and paint that shit. And all the other shit's under warranty because my cars aren't buckets that are off warranty. They're all brand new. But the main point is like, I don't give a fuck. This is the best part about me. I already died a long time ago. I'm done. This is all a plus. I don't care. I was in my kitchen the other day and my whole staff, my mansion's huge. I have a whole staff. Like it's 20,000 square foot main house. And I have like 8 other fucking spots on the property of 9 acres in Rancho Santa Fe, right near the beach. I mean, and it's like the whole thing, we're literally like a mile from the 5, and on the other side of 5 is the beach, like 2 miles from the ocean, mega property. But all my people were making up my brunch. I have like a Sunday brunch with friends and stuff every Sunday. It's like a mastermind meeting, everyone who wants to elevate. And they said, because I traded in one of my old Ferraris and McLarens for some other shit I got. And they're like, do you lose money when you give those cars? You must have lost a lot of money. I said, the fuck are you talking about? They're like, did you lose a lot of money? I said, no, there's no losses here. Like this year, I'm way ahead from last year. Why is everyone such looking at the timeline so small? I never do that. I'm like, this year, are we better than last year? Don't do that. There's going to be complete years of just brand building where you don't even profit. This all goes back into the motherfucker. I mean, people need to be realistic with that small scope and that small vision and really have long view on everything they do, because the long view and the long-term commitment will produce the greatest results.
Man, that's a fucking great lesson. Don't get caught up in the individual transaction. Look at the longer timeline.
The day, I mean, even like a mastermind where you meet people, you measure the ROI of a mastermind in 5 years, 10 years. Like I met this guy back then and now he's doing this. Holy shit, I could call him. That's why people don't get about masterminds. Like, you know how many huge people I met years ago when I started that end up like maybe needing my service later. I got paid the other day off of, some of the top coaches are on my program. I mean, from like Dan Martell to Trevor Bachmeyer. I mean, top people. And they're like, how are you doing it so simple? I'm like, watch this. Because they have a business mind. I'm like a personal brand. They're a business. I'm a personal brand. The kids who have personal brands are way better than us business guys at social media. They love it so much, and they just create so much traffic that they can't even fucking fail. Like, these kids are monsters at doing it. They're so fucking good. They make us look stupid, but we have to teach them how to monetize. So having the best of both worlds, which I've pretty much created, I believe. And from everyone I've worked with, I mean, I'm doing close to 1.7, close to 2 million a month between all my shit. It's getting up there to where, damn, and it's that much profit. Because I mean, people will tell me their numbers and they're profiting 30%, and I don't like that. I don't want to profit 30%. Fuck that.
Well, that's an interesting idea, because Martell, speaking of Martell, he has been on the show and he's a buddy. His mentality is that if your margin is larger than 30%, and I think he says like 20 or 30, then you're not investing in the business enough and you're not reaching as many people as you could be reaching if you did invest in the business more.
That's what one of my coaches, Rich Sheffrin, used to say. Rich helped me from the beginning. And I met Todd Herman through Rich. We both spoke at his mastermind at his Del Rey mansion a long time ago. And, they were all more subscribed to the Ascension, like get the buy-in through like a newsletter, old school shit, and climb the ladder. I don't do that. I'm going to try to sell the highest product. If they don't buy that, I'm selling them mid-level. If they don't buy the mid-level, they get email targeted for my low-level. And I've created probably one of the top grossing low ticket offers for a coach, which is it's doing about 700,000 a month. There's a lot and it's growing every day. There is truth to that, but not if you're really, really good at getting on a lot of podcasts, getting a lot of buzz, and just bringing the views. I mean, even Hormozy went from spending a lot more on ads to doing a lot more on content. And he's like, bro, I saved so much because I spent $376,000 over the last 90 days on content. But let's think about how many people I reached opposed to my ads. And I mean, I reach so many people because I'm always doing podcasts, always doing speaking engagements. I'll fly and pay my own money to go to a speaking engagement. But the whole thing is I'll pull out the room. Like, I'm like, no, just can I pitch the room? And they're like, yeah, of course. I'm like, okay, this is going to be bad. Like, I'm going to sell the whole fucking room. And these motherfuckers are like, yeah, right. They're like, how much you make? I'm like, I pulled 400 out of the room. They're like, Jesus Christ, what the hell? I'm like, I knew how to speak to that room. I know that room. And they're like, shit, okay. And so I just operate differently. It's not really, I don't have a big team. And everything I do, everyone I always hire on, you will not get a steady wage. You will get profit sharing. And that's my protection. We'll get profit sharing, and that is it. People who signed on with me from the beginning, it went from making $3,000 a month to making $170.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, this is our media team who does all my shit. They started with us, and it's two of my buddies who went to prison, and they knew Hormozy's gym launch and all that shit. And the thing is they They grew with me the whole time. They bet on me, and now they make a shitload from doing the same work we were basically doing from the beginning.
Well, you're clearly doing some things right, and there are definitely a million ways to do things. So I think that those are great lessons too, that you don't have to subscribe to somebody else's structure, framework, model. There are a lot of ways to do things right. I want to ask you, though, you mentioned a little bit ago, when people ask for advice, they're asking what to do, and your response was, it's not what you should do, it's what you shouldn't do. So what are, 3 things that an entrepreneur shouldn't be doing when they're trying to grow? And you can pick whoever your avatar is, but
nowadays you shouldn't put so much into the business till you're profiting. Mainly who you are, your habits. You shouldn't be out drinking. You shouldn't be up late. You shouldn't be missing workouts. You shouldn't be operating from any type of behavior that causes karmic debt. So, these guys are like thinking they're winning and they're cheating on their wives or something, or their girlfriends. There's no way you're operating at 100% clarity during your business day if every time your phone rings, you think she found out. Oh, fuck, she must have found out. Fuck, am I going to have to fucking get a divorce and all this shit? Like, these guys have to create so many scenarios that turn into massive energy leaks because they have bad character. If a man is right, his world will be right. I don't have bad character because I like my clarity. And once I get people to get rid of the habits that cause them to have a lack of clarity through karmic debt, people suffer from karmic debt even when they just don't jump on stuff they should. And that's karmic debt. They're losing the moment. The definition of karmic debt for the viewers. We're punished by the universe for our negative acts. And how does the universe punish us for our negative acts? We get punished with time. But if there's still 24 hours in the day, how are we punished with time? They're not working hours. So if you did something wrong and you spoke to your wife incorrectly on the phone, you yelled at her, I guarantee for the next 3 hours until she says it's okay, you're going to be like, fuck, damn it. I shouldn't have said that. Oh, man. And then, there's no way you're going to be able to work. So you don't get to make that money. You don't get to do that work. That video is going to suck because of your character at that moment. So I just teach people a lot of their energy leaks, and that the only time they willingly give up moments of their life is when they break character. So when people ask me, Wes, what's your business plan for this year? I said, to not break character. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, if I don't break character, I'll have the clarity to find that thing that day that's going to push me forward. So I'm never whiteboarding stuff. I'm operating from complete clarity and just seeing stuff as it takes shape and making moves very quickly. There's one thing I don't ever do, which is take time to make a move on something. Even the stupidest analogy. My friend, my little homie who I taught a lot, he always wanted a Rolex. But he would spend so much time looking for the right one, the right price, looking at them, trying them on. I said, bro, you've bought it 10 times. With the amount of time you spend looking for the right watch, you've bought it 97 times. And you work for me, so I'm going to go ahead and just buy the watch so you quit wasting my money, okay? I'm just going to buy it, and then we can quit wasting this time that you're spending looking for it. That's with everything. That's with your girl. That's with that car purchase. That's with that property you're iffy on. If it's close to the price you want and you're being called to do it, just make the move, get it and throw it over there and get back to work. Now. Because you are sitting there on the fence, wasting the most valuable thing we have, which is our time and energy. And it's just, I can sit there in someone's day and in their mind, and I can take apart all the stuff and dismantle their thoughts and their energy allocation so I can get them operating at 100% again. And it's all the stuff they don't think is going to do it. So by the way they eat, by the way they think, their thoughts, their actions that produce karmic debt. Their inability their procrastination. On stuff that they don't think they're procrastinating on. They think they're being safe on. Oh no, I'm just making sure I'm safe on this decision. It's is it close? Yeah, it's pretty close. Make the move. You're costing yourself money and time. So I just am really to the point in betting on myself quicker to then, allocate the time and energy correctly so we can really move forward.
Well, and to the point that you made earlier, even if it was close and late, somebody would call it not profitable in that transaction or in that instant. It's not about the individual transaction all the time. Maybe being, slightly unprofitable in that moment made the aggregate, made the year or the 3 years or the 5 the win, right? The profitable thing. And you freed up your time in order to execute.
And you stopped a really negative habitual trait that you were about to construct, which is being on the fence all the time.
Right.
Someone who moves quick. Everyone's like, how do you do this so fast? I said, all offense. I only play offense. I don't play defense at all. Not in my relationship, not in anything. It's like, this is what I want. This is what I'm doing. I'm doing all of it towards it. I'm not going to be like, well, if she does. The negotiations and the conversations we have in our head when we're playing defense take up most of our lives. So the thing is, I don't play defense. I just go forward to what I want. And if I fail, then I'm failing forward fast. And I'm learning and growing and killing it. I don't do anything right. But what I do very right is move forward. But I'm not doing anything completely right. Nobody is. Everything's changing. So I'm just moving forward as fast as I can, learning and growing and making sure that I make the choices I believe to be right at that time that are close enough to our main goal, which is profit and progress in personal development.
Is there a finish line for you?
Oh, no. I don't even give a fuck. I could give a shit. I've never been like, I have to be a billionaire. I don't give a fuck. Like, I'll just get where I get. The only thing I have to do is not break character. And the finish line is every day when I lay my head down, if I didn't break character and I was a good man and I like who Wes Watson was that day, he was a great example and his heart is clear, he's good. But if I was out seeking stuff for Wes Watson, instant gratification, pleasure chasing, not living a purpose over pleasure life, living a pleasure-based lifestyle, I could never look myself in the mirror. I've done all that. So the goal is just to not break character every day.
I heard you say in prep for this, I saw Bradley in Vegas a few weeks ago, and I saw that you were on a show. So in prep, I pulled that up. And one of the things you said was, in more colorful language, you have to be prepared when that situation shows up. You have to have done the preparation. And in some respects, that seems contrary to just taking action and running. And I think I get it, but can you explain kind of where those two things meet? Like trying to be prepared for the moment when it comes up, and not overthinking it and not delaying to take action?
Yeah, just being prepared is like moment to moment, possessing the traits and the habits of someone who can see and sees an opportunity. A lot of people don't realize, they're like, there's no opportunities. I'm like, you're not prepared to grab them. Like if you were in top tier A1 shape, you could just go online and take pictures of yourself and sell a fitness program real quick and make millions. But you're not in top tier shape. And that was your choice. You're not prepared. I mean, if your dream girl walked up and you were prepared enough with the confidence of who you are and your ability to go talk to her correctly, you could get her. I can get anything I want because I'm prepared to grab it. I'm prepared to get it. And I mean, I'm always preparing more for maybe life events that could derail you by having a process that strengthens me each day. But mainly it's moment to moment, preparing with living at the correct frequency, the correct mindset, that PMA, the correct mindset at a high enough frequency to where I can actually see. Because in all reality, the world is not as it is, the world is as you are. So if you are in a great place, you see opportunity all around you and you can create an opportunity out of anything, as I did in prison. I'm like, I need a phone. They're like, there's no phones right now. I'm like, okay. My buddy worked in maintenance. I'm like, okay, you do the shipping in here of parts that come from other places. Okay, you're going to reroute that part to your house. And at your house, your brother's going to stuff that part, open it up and stuff it with cell phones and a bunch of stuff. And then when it comes here, you're going to make sure you open it. And you get to it before the people at the facility. And he gets to it. The package comes to his brother. He stuffs it. And he calls the place like, I don't even know what this is. Why did this come to my house? They're like, oh, sorry. And then they don't tell the facility it stopped at this address. And it goes to the prison. And now it's filled with cell phones and tobacco and drugs and everything. And then my buddy grabs the phones out and everything. I have 30 phones. And I just made $1,500 per phone. And I get my 2 or 3 phones and I cycle them around the block. And everyone's paying me $50 per hour. You get 1 hour a day for the month for $50. So 2 of the phones are being rented out, making me a bunch of green dot numbers that make me a bunch of money. I'm on my phone building my Instagram. I made a bunch of money by selling the other phones. And it was all because I needed to seize this opportunity of posting on my Instagram so that when I got out, I was able to kill it again and live the life I want. I'm 9 million steps ahead of most people on what I want because I mean, people are so stupid. They're like, I just need what I need. And I say, fuck that. Like, if you're just going to live in needs, I don't want a part of that. And people are like, why do you need so many cars? I'm like, it's not about what you need. I've made it to wants. And I've always made it to wants in my life. Mm-hmm. When I was in prison, I wanted the most food. I wanted the most protein powder. And I would get it because it's healthy to want and to go get. And a lot of people just accept and they take the hand they were dealt. And that's just not me.
Yeah. Well, I love it, man. I love the way you're articulating it. I love the lessons that come from it. I think there's a lot both for people starting out in their entrepreneurial journey and people that are way down the path. I know you've got solid presence on a lot of social platforms. Where do you want to point people? Where should people find out more about you?
Instagram, Watson_fit. That's my Instagram. And don't go buy crypto from one of the fakes. I got the blue check mark. Finally, I had to fucking buy it. Yeah, I'm famous. I bought it. I'm famous. It's only $15. I'm glad they did that, though, because I'm someone who really needed it because these fake pages were trying really hard to scam my followers. So I'm very glad Instagram did that. A lot of people are mad about it. Like, oh, these guys are trying to be famous. I'm like, or they're running a business and they're like, Instagram wasn't verifying them. And this helps them. So I really applaud that. And I'm glad they did that for $15. Don't tell Mark I would have paid $1,500 a month. He shortchanged the shit out of himself. I mean, Jesus. But so Watson_fit on Instagram, and then GP Penitentiary Life with Wes Watson on YouTube. Also, Google Wes Watson on YouTube and look at the interviews I have with all the top people. I always beat everybody. If I'm on your YouTube channel, you should pay me to be on your YouTube channel or get me on it. I beat everyone's views. Last I was on Flex Lewis's, and I'm like, I only have to beat Hormozy. That's all I care about, is that I get more views than Hormozy. And they're like, why? Why more than Hormozy? I'm like, because I love him and he gets good shit. And if I beat him, it's very validating on an unbiased platform. Like, this is this bodybuilder's platform. Hormozy's on there, Wes is on there. Wes beats him. Yes, validating. And then I go on Dan Fleischman's Money Mondays. And I beat Dan Bilzerian. Yes, validating. Like, you guys need to win and be validated by your wins. It is a competition. Be in a competition. The competition of making massive money and doing dope Twitter posts. Hormozy beat me at it. Dude, and the dude's jacked. Love that guy. He is a brand. He's awesome. And when he made this switch to doing more content, I'm like, yes, because I need content. I love when I stumble across something. That guy has, like, not even tried and orchestrated and gave me a lot of stuff. And that's what I do to people. So I love that. I love that we're doing this. I love content that gets put out. But I'm okay. So GP Penitentiary Life with Wes Watson on YouTube. Go to weswatson.com to sign up for coaching. I can help you build your brand and make millions, which we will if you just shut the fuck up and listen to me and forget everything you fucking know when you come on. And then the next one is I do mindset coaching for top level people. I have a mid-level program to get your life right. This is on weswatson.com. If you go to my link on weswatson.com and you fill it out, you will get a text from me. Don't ask me if it's a fucking bot because I will fucking kill you. I will fucking be like, shit, this is me. Because I really answer all the messages. In a world full of people who do not answer messages, I really fucking answer them. And I take a lot of pride in answering them because I want to connect with people. I need people. And I need my program as much as they need it and as much as I sell it. And that's one of the things I like to say. Like, do you use your stuff? Do you even need what you sell? Like, I need what I sell. It's amazing. It's like, are you the man you always needed? Are you the client that you wanted? Are you the client you want? Are you the man you always need? So many things that are so valuable. And then also my book on Amazon, weswatson.com, Non-Negotiable by Wes Watson. 10 years incarcerated, building the unbreakable mindset. So you can pick that up. But Brad, it's been a pleasure. Actually, Todd Herman, we were supposed to be on a call during this, and I didn't even message him before because I was so rushed this morning. He texted me, he's like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm on a podcast with Brad.
I love it. I love it, man. That's awesome. Well, Wes, it's been great, man. I appreciate you carving out some time.
Whenever you're in San Diego, I owe you a steak. Let me know, bro.
I'm in. I'm taking you up on that. Don't say shit to me if you don't want me to follow through.
Oh, dude, I'm bored. I only fuck with people. I'm only fuck with the people who are doing big things, talk big, think big, and make moves. I don't have time to just talk shit. I really like being around just the elevated presence. Law of exposure is real. Once exposed, you can't be unexposed. Get around people living how you want to live. You guys, that's the biggest thing you can do. Get in the room. I know it's cliche, but once you've been exposed to what's possible for you, you will be in pain when you're not working to create it. It's huge.
Let's fucking rock, man. Keep moving, man. Keep doing your thing.
Awesome, bro. You have a great day. Thank you.
You too, man. Love it. I hope you enjoyed the episode as much as I enjoyed doing it. I need your help. There are 3 places you can find Beyond a Million. The podcast itself, beyondamillion.com, which has some cool free resources, including a free course. And we finally launched the Beyond a Million YouTube channel. I would love it if you would go there and subscribe. And if you don't want to, you still would probably enjoy seeing the visual content. Check it out, youtube.com/@Beyond a Million.